All right, I'm live. Zoo in the chat, out of the box with what's going on with the shitcoins. Shitcoins and Ethereum, you're all about to get rubbed. You can't play in that casino and expect to win. It is so completely rigged against you that it's by design. It is by design. You want to gamble? All gamblers die broke. All gamblers die broke. But there and this, I don't know who's doing what. Now I got to go into my screen shares immediately. I got to change up the order of things. I talked about that chick. The where is she? Okay, let's use this one. There was that astrology chick on no, not that. It's not the one I wanted. You fucking go back. What the hell's her name? She's on Twitter. Her name is Marin, and she dresses in red, and she's a dark-haired female, and she's talking about astrology and crypto all the time. And so she's traveling all around the world doing all sorts of stuff. She's been super active. She had a Chinese friend who dresses in green, and then she was like, hey, I'll be the girl in red, you be the girl in green. If you look at financial charts or crypto charts or whatever, a lot of times the charts are drawn on what are called candles, which show the price movement day to day or hour to hour, even down to the minute. So there are red candles when the price is going down, and there are green candles. Okay. I'll show you. There we go. All right. So here's what I want to show. Here's okay. Here's the girl. Here she is. I'm still on Facebook because I have some family members on Facebook, and I like to see memes. I like to drop some spicy memes on Facebook for my normie family. But this is what I got. Here we go. This showed up. I can make that bigger, can I? There we go. So all of a sudden, this person sent me a friend request. You know what I mean? Well, look who it happens to be. It just happens to be that same girl. So, it's kind of amazing that out of the blue on Facebook, I get a friend request from the same chick that Marin, the astrology red girl on Twitter, showed. Is friendly with, right? So hold on, let's see. So I ignore that because, to be honest, if I want a cute Chinese girl to pay attention to me, I'll just go like at the next town over. Right? I'll go to the next town over, and I'll just go to a massage parlor, and whatever. I can pay $65 an hour to get a real girl that looks just like that to be real nice to me for an hour, right? I don't need the internet version. I can get the real version whenever I want. You know what I mean? You tip them well, and they will make sure you leave in a good mood, let us say. That way, and my computer is not doing what I want it to do. What the F? Now I'm going to start closing stuff down. Hopefully I can clear my cache. Anyway, so I get one request from her, and then there's 2 days later, it's like, hey, you haven't responded to your friend request. And, so there's the NSA or whoever's running this, the Goldman Sachs, CIA, Department of Justice, Crypto Task Force, whatever the fuck they call themselves, right? They are most definitely up to some fuckery. You know what I mean? And There's a bunch of different ones now I wanted to show you, and my screen, it looks like at this point I am not able to do nearly anything on my computer, and it's really bothering me because everything was working out real well up until a minute ago. I can't even shut the screen down. Right? If I shut this down, I'm gonna. I have like wow. Oh, that's so pissing me off. All right, so we go on anyway. That Marin chick is now promoting she's in Brazil and she's taking all these photos, of course, and her DMs are open on Twitter, right? So there's this hot chick who's taking bikini photos in Brazil, and her DMs are open on Twitter, and she don't complain. I don't know how many people are running her account. I don't know how big the operation that these people represent is, but she showed the Chinese girl. She showed I have the picture, but I can't show it because my computer is completely locked up on me right now, of a Brazilian girl, like a big booty Brazilian girl in yellow. And so this is how they're going to hook you. They're going to digitally grab you by the penis and take you wherever they want you to go. Thirsty dudes from all over the place are going to respond to one of these images. You like the white girl? No, you don't like the white girl? We got a Chinese girl for you. You don't like Chinese girls? Oh, we got a fat booty Spanish girl for you. Whatever they need to do to get you to dance to their tune, they will do. And it all involves hot girls. Strangely, it does not involve trans women or homos, because they know that nobody responds to that shit. So I thought that was pretty funny. Anyway, so title of this stream is the title of a book that I tried to read, which is a terrible book. The book was called FishCakes and Courtesans, which were the subtitle, I believe, was the driving passions of classical Greece. So they were talking about Athens around the time of the 500 BC to 425 BC, and how everybody there was crazy for different type of fish dishes and prostitutes. Not street prostitutes, but the high-end prostitutes that you would call courtesans. Anyway, the book was written by an English guy who promised that he was not going to get lost in the weeds and editorialized, and then he promptly got lost in the weeds and editorialized. So the book was actually total crap, and I tried so hard to read it. I wanted to like it, and I thought it was really a good subject for a book, and it could have been really big, but the guy just completely fucked it up. Quite a disappointment. But you can, and the thing is, in the foreword, he said, "I'm not going to fuck this up," and then he promptly fucked it up. But there are things that you can't, that you think you know, that you don't know. And even though you may be intimately familiar with this subject. And I was thinking about that recently. I was in Morristown, New Jersey, right? And I saw a woman, she's getting ready to get on a private jet, her and her husband. She had a dog with her, and she's got like a quart of ice cream that she's eating just like out of her, holding it in one hand, holding the dog with the other hand. The dog is out of control. It's like a medium-sized poodle spaniel mix or something like that. I don't know what it was. But I look at people with dogs and I look at the dog because the behavior of the dog tells me more about the person who owns it than anything else. So I'm sitting there, and then since I've seen people collect and send dogs on commercial airlines like United and Delta, I know how all that works. I've seen that for years. Well, at least I thought I knew how that worked. So I was sitting in my car. I got out of my car and I walked over. I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, where is the crate for your dog?" Because when you ship a dog on United or Delta or whatever airline, there's like a plastic crate with it comes in two halves, an upper half and a lower half, and there's a little gate that to let the dog in and out of, and it has to be a certain size. If the dog is a certain size, the crate has to be a certain size, and blah 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 blah, and it fits together with simple hand tools and zip ties, and you can ship your dog wherever you need to ship your dog. Well, the woman looked at me and she said, "What crate?" I said, don't you have a plastic crate that you put the dog in when they fly with you? And she says, no, they just put the dog in the doggy seat. And I was like thunderstruck. I must have looked like a retard. I'm like, I said, what? They have a doggy seat? And she says, yeah, they have a doggy seat. So to fly in a private jet, NetJet's private jets, which is probably what she was flying out of, she was flying on the signature flight. So I'm like, wait a minute, this woman is paying $10,500 an hour for her dog to sit in a private jet. Like I thought I knew how dogs moved on airplanes, but I didn't, even though I'd seen it for years and years, and I thought I knew how it worked. I had it completely wrong. So that was a bit of an eye opener to me. It isn't that I'm not super surprised that somebody would spend $10,000 an hour to have their dog go on vacation with them. That's just Weimar. That's your standard Weimar conditions. But what's surprising is that I didn't, that I missed it. It was so obvious that I missed it. So I don't even know if am I still. I don't even know if I'm still streaming. Everything is frozen up on my end, and I cannot do anything except I could close this browser window, which would of course end the stream prematurely, or I can minimize the browser window. And I was hoping to minimize it and reduce the amount of resources that I'm using to get the cache moving again. But I don't know that that's even possible. I'm trying to shut things off. I don't know what else there is to shut off. What is that? Oh, this is a whole lot of interference. This is way more interference than a 37 subscriber channel should be getting. You know what I mean? Really, really way more interference. So I started thinking about democracy and all the democracy haters. And I thought about the Battle of Marathon in the year 490 BC. There was, I might as well start fucking drinking because this is not going to get any better. By the way, I don't have very much to drink, so this might not be the longest stream because I don't even really have enough to get hungover. But we will start with the alcohol and we'll see where it goes. Because now I'm in something of a poor mood. Okay, so in 490 BC, the Persians were pissed off at the Greeks because a couple of small islands that used to pay tribute to Persia decided to stop doing that, and Persia decided they were going to punish all the Greeks by going there and burning everything down. And so in 490 BC, Athens, they knew where the Persians were going to land, where they were likely to land, a place called Marathon, and they went up there to meet them. So about 9,000 Athenians met a force of about 26,000 Persians. And there was a battle. It was called the Battle of Marathon. Well, the Greeks won, and they won big time. They blew the fucking Persians out of the water. In fact, as soon as the Persians hit the beach, they got killed. And this was really the first test of democracy, in my opinion. Democracy is like older than 490 BC. I don't know what the exact date they came up with it was, but there was the first real big test of democracy. Like, hey, can you take on the Persian Empire? And the answer was yes. And this was such a shocking win. It was shocking even to the Greeks that they did it. That people did not comprehend it for a very long time. And I was thinking about all the people that hate democracy. They're always criticizing democracy. They're all over social media. Democracy sucks this and democracy sucks that. And I was thinking about it. I was like, well, boys, in 490 BC, democracy had its first big test, right? Democracy versus the Persian Empire. And you know what? Democracy won. And nobody at the time could imagine it because there was still there was a lot of monarchy. There were kingdoms all over Greece. The Spartans had kings. Everybody had kings. Democracy was all by itself. But it won. And now democracy covers the earth. 2,500 years later, democracy now covers the earth. All the kingdoms, the god kings of Mesopotamia, the pharaohs of Egypt, right? I'm sure they thought nothing of democracy. They thought, oh, this is just some weird experiment that those crazy Greeks are doing. But now every place, including Mesopotamia and Egypt, is a democracy. And the critics of democracy are many, and they're usually they're uneducated and lazy and stupid. And I say that because every criticism of democracy, the best criticism of democracy comes from Aristotle, of course, who was criticizing democracy like in 350 or so. Democracy was only like 140, 150 years old at that time. But as a system of governance, it was interesting. It was interesting to Aristotle. And what Aristotle basically noticed was that things start out as democracy. They turn into oligarchy, which is the rule of the wealthy. And then they turn into tyranny, which is the rule of the extremely wealthy. And then the people finally revolt, and the process starts all over again. And I'm not one to ever argue with Aristotle because, let's face it, Aristotle's been dead 2,400 years, and he's still winning arguments. That's not a brain you want to go up against. You want to be on the same side as this guy. You don't want to counter signal him. So, but Aristotle correctly figured out that the flaw of democracy was that the rich begin controlling things, that money corrupts democracy. And ultimately, in his final verdict, in talking about the optimal system of governance for human affairs, Aristotle was agnostic. He said, I don't know what it's going to be, but you have to have a system where no one can make money off the government. At the time, Aristotle could not conceive of Bitcoin, right? Nobody could believe that Bitcoin was going to come. But Bitcoin is the separation of money and the state. And Bitcoin is what will perfect democracy, because democracy is the best system, all right? It's not a perfect system, but it's the best system. Democracy grew up, came to creation, was birthed on this planet and went up against all comers, right? And everything that ever stood up to democracy is now gone. There's no more pharaohs in Egypt. There are no more god kings in Mesopotamia. I don't know, whatever the fuck the Europeans had before. The Roman Empire was there, whatever they had, tribal chieftains. No, they have none of that. Everywhere has democracy. And whether it's democracy that's to your taste and not to your taste, you think it's 100% or it's only 13% democracy or whatever, no one wants to hear you cry. Basically, all you crybabies have had 2,500 years to come up with a system that is superior to democracy, and you haven't done shit. In 2,500 years, you haven't done a fucking thing. So, and you keep advocating for some system that democracy, like, literally fucking took out back and chopped its head off and threw its body in a ditch. So, and of course you can't see that. You somehow miss the fact that the earth is covered in democracy, and democracy has literally won the planet Earth. Even as fucked up as it is, even as corrupted as it is, with basically dragging around central banking vampires to drag it down. So, I gotta look at my notes again. Bitcoin fixes democracy because it separates money from the state. And if the state can't tax you and it can't destroy your wealth or inflate it away, well, then the state has no power, right? And this is the beginning of this final revolution in human governance, right? The first part was inventing democracy, and the second part is inventing Bitcoin. This week, Paraguay is going to introduce its Bitcoin law. I had a screenshot. Denmark has also, what have they done? What is Her Majesty Margrethe II, Queen of Denmark, and the Danish Commonwealth Association Fund in partnership with InStrike, and InStrike, the Jack Mallers Corporation, the one that did the Paraguay law, are currently in discussions to propose a Bitcoin legal tender law for the sovereign state of Denmark and her peoples. That would be like Denmark and the Faroe Islands and a couple other places. So last month we took over El Salvador. This month we will get Paraguay. Denmark has entered the chat. Bit by bit, country by country, we will take over the world. In the same way that democracy eventually took over the world. Not all at once. And, there were dozens of setbacks. But democracy always comes back, and democracy always wins. And Bitcoin is going to win as well. You want to fuck with something else? You want to go with your Mesopotamian god kings? You want to go with your pharaohs? You want to go with your tribal chieftains? You can go ahead and do that, but the clock is ticking, and you're going to lose. It's just a question of when you're going to lose. So you can smarten up, or you could stay a retard. And to be honest, I mostly expect most people to stay retards. You don't understand. You've had 2,500 years to come up with something better, and there's nothing better. Okay, so but you're too arrogant to see that, and so well, you know what? You're going to have to be humbled, and you will be humbled. This is really pissing me off that I have no control over what's going on my screen right now. It is really pissing me off. But the dream of perfecting democracy is possible now because it's a technological breakthrough. In the same way that the Wright brothers created the technological breakthrough for human beings to finally fly. People looked at birds and they saw birds flying and they wished they could fly. Mankind has wanted to fly for thousands of years, but they could never do it. They could never figure out how to make that happen. But the Wright brothers did manage to figure it out. They started out with their little bicycle shop, and then they were screwing around with like, hey, why can't we make something fly? And they put the right ingredients together the right way, and they created, no pun intended, the correct way, and they created the airplane. Okay, and today, when was it? When did they create their airplane? 1904 or something like that? 1904, 19, yeah, I don't know what it was. In the early part of the 20th century. And now people don't even look at airplanes. You just take them for granted, So everything was always there. You just needed the right people to put it together in the right way to finalize the dream of human flight. And everything that Bitcoin is has been around for a really long time, but it took the right person to put it together in the right way to create the thing that is going to separate money from the state. And without money, the state will shrivel to an almost imperceptibly small group of people with no power other than what people choose to give it when they choose to give it. This is a really, really, really exciting time in history, whether you see that or not. And it's as much as in the short term, everything looks really, really, really bleak. In the long term, things look fantastic. You know what I mean? Things look absolutely fantastic. So right now, the Bitcoin price is like 32, 34. This seems to be the floor. It's not going any lower than that. I have no idea how long we're going to go sideways in the 30s before we come out of this, but we will come out of it. We will go how high? I don't know, pretty high. And it will drag all your Cardano and all the stuff that Zoo, Cardano, Ethereum 1, Ethereum 2, all the shit coins will go up with it. But when it's all said and done, this time next year and 5 years from now, Bitcoin will be higher and higher and higher and stronger and in more countries. And all of those shit coins, whether it's Cardano or Ethereum or whatever, they're all going to be forgotten. They're going to be, a new version of the same scam. Just like the astrology chick is going to, she's You don't like astrology girl, you could have Chinese girl. You don't like Chinese girl, we got Brazilian girl. You got whatever it is to distract you from the real power, which is Bitcoin. Because again, Bitcoin is the power to separate money from the state. And therefore, essentially perfect democracy, because democracy is decentralized governance, right? No one central power. Power is shared with different groups with different responsibility, and power is transferred over time to other groups that are picked by the wider population. And it is the best system. I'm not saying it's perfect. Some of you are probably going to cry, oh, you said it's perfect. It's not perfect, but it's the best. And if you don't think democracy is the best, ask yourself why in the last 2,500 fucking years, no one has come up with anything better. And ask yourself why in the last 2,500 years, democracy has taken over the earth. You want to ask yourself, why is that? Why did democracy win and your shitty ideas lose? Of course, that would require some introspection and honesty, which most people do not have on the internet. And so I will just, I'm going to go on in this vein, seeing that that's my best thinking of the week, that Bitcoin perfects democracy. And that we are actually living in a very, very, very exciting time. You know, the central bankers are the Persian Empire. You know what I mean? They're the equivalent of the Persian Empire. And we're about to knock them on their ass, and then we're going to slay them. They will be destroyed. They will be no more. And it won't take 2,500 years. It'll happen much, much quicker. It's going to happen. It'll happen in less than 25 years at this point. Events are moving very, very quickly. But Bitcoin is to human governance what democracy was. You may not see the significance, the importance of it in the first few years. You don't get it. You're like, whatever, it's a weird thing. You got lucky. I'm sure there were guys in ancient Egypt sitting on the pyramids when they heard that, that the mighty Persian Empire got its ass kicked by some little city-state in Greece. And they said, they got lucky. You know what I mean? It's luck. It's nothing, There'll always be pyramids. Yeah, well, there'll always be pyramids. But the people living amongst the pyramids, the modern-day Egyptians, are practicing democracy. So, there may always be some sort of central banker. Who knows? There may actually be central banking in the future, but they're going to be about as useful as the fucking pyramids. You know what I mean? Something you walk by and point at, take a picture in front of, and then go on your merry way. But I was really wishing I had all these cool screen shares, and I got nothing. My computer is totally frozen. I don't even know how long I've been going. From 10:50 to 11:25. I'm not even, to be honest, I'm not even sure if I'm still broadcasting. So it's about 35 minutes. I've been going. I compressed everything dramatically because of these tech problems, and I got panicky, and I just tried to spit this all out as quick as I could. The other thing I was thinking about that's a little more current events orientated is there's a case in front of the Supreme Court that's a Second Amendment case that's kind of a big deal. Because it's a case from New York State where someone with a licensed pistol was outside his home without a permit, and I don't know if he was arrested or whatever. And he was denied, he was denied a permit because he couldn't show special need. That's what it was. So this guy's a legal gun owner. He wants to get a concealed handgun license. He can't get it from the city of New York or whatever. And they said, well, you don't have any special need to carry a gun. So this thing has worked its way through the courts for I don't know how long, and now it's in front of the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court is going to rule on whether a state can insist that you, a private citizen, have a special need to carry a handgun concealed. And the implications of this is that states like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Maryland, Massachusetts, if the Supreme Court says you do not have any special need, there is no special need, that means those states I just mentioned and some others are going to have to change their gun laws so that anybody who wants to carry a pistol can carry a pistol, right? Unless they're a felon or mentally ill. So if those gun laws have to change here in New Jersey and in some other states, it has wider implications with all of this social unrest, with this Antifa blocking the highway thing, with these groups of protesters that show up outside people's houses. And I do not think you should ever go outside your house with a gun. If there's a mob outside, stay in your house with your gun, of course. And if they come in your house, well, they're in a jury on anywhere in America that's going to fault you for defending yourself if 50 people try to break into your house. But don't leave your house. Stay inside your house. Aside from the fact that there's enormous legal protections for staying inside your house, there's a whole lot of reasons to not go out into a wild mob of screaming Antifa lunatics or Black Matters Lives lunatics with your trusty pop gun, because you're going to be surrounded and it's going to go really badly for you. So stay in your house, force them to approach only in certain ways, and you can, like I said, if they do a home invasion, if they try to bum rush your front door and you defend yourself, there is not one jury anywhere in America that will ever convict you of a crime. So this case, I think it's called Douglas versus New York, is kind of a big deal. And it, like I said, it has implications, has real big implications, considering how these fake incidents, the mob outrage, this BLM protest outside the house of a cop or somebody who used the N-word in front of some whatever, online. All of this is going to the dynamics of it could potentially change very radically, and especially in the aftermath, because if the Supreme Court says you have no special, you have the right to just carry a handgun for self-defense, and then you're surrounded by 50 people who want you dead because you used a bad word on the internet, well, it changes a lot of things. So, and I think the White House is very much afraid of this. I think Andrew Cuomo is very much afraid of this. They're doing all this weird preemptive stuff. So it's going to be interesting. Going to be very interesting by the end of this year. But beware of the Bitcoin bunnies. Beware of the crypto cuties. There are people looking to manipulate your loneliness and your horniness to get you to make decisions you normally wouldn't make. And they're ham-fisted and poorly done, but thirsty dudes are not the most thoughtful dudes. Anyway, we've got 11:30. 11:30, do I even have anything left to talk about? I was hoping to stretch this out, right? I was really hoping to stretch this out with all those screen shares. You know what I mean? And I could have done more instead of being like in a rush to push this out real quick, not knowing, because again, from my point of view, my screen is almost completely whited out, and I have no control over anything other than maybe to end the stream prematurely by closing the Google Chrome browser. If I do that, that'll just end the stream, and it'll end it incorrectly. So I don't know. Don't know what to do. I have no control panel whatsoever. Nothing. No way I can do this. And I'm sure um, I'm almost 100% sure that this is not an organic situation. You know what I mean? I was complaining last time. You don't hear it on the stream if you listen on YouTube, but on my end there's like all kind of buzzing noises and you know when every now and then the mic goes dead on me, like, you know, and I don't touch any of the controls. You know, we all know that the boys in Utah, the bugmen I should say, not even boys, the fucking bugmen in Utah are behind that. Anyway, it's coming up on 11:32 p.m. and I'm thinking I should probably end this because it's not at all going the way I want it to go. Let me see what I wonder, just out of curiosity, how many resources I actually do have. I'll see if I can play the outro music. If the outro music just plays, that will tell me something. It's loading slowly, but I guess the cache is not emptying. Very, very, very slowly. So because this music's on my hard drive, you know, it's something they probably can't control. All right, so the music will play, so that's something they don't control. Anyway, with that, we'll finish out with the outro music, and I will try again maybe tomorrow night. I got a bunch of stuff I got to do tomorrow, but maybe I'll try this again tomorrow night or next week. We'll have to see. Anyway, for anybody who showed up, Zoo, anybody else who is listening to this later on, make sure to smash up the like button. It really pisses off the NSA. Smash up the like button, share the screen, even though this one's a disaster. But take heart, all is well. Bitcoin is going to fix a lot of things. And if you hold Bitcoin, you're on the winning side. Okay, you're like somebody practicing democracy in 490 BC. You don't understand how enormously powerful what you have is, but time and history will show you that. All right. Anyway, good night, guys. I will play the outro music, and I'll talk to you again in the future. I'm back. Am I back? Look, I'm still on. The spirit of Tobias Gooch test. You told me to buy BTC at 50K. Yeah, buy it at 50K. Buy it now. You know. Well, I don't know how I got back. I don't know what I did to make myself come back, but I have come back. That's interesting. I wonder if I can get everything back. You know, you guys sitting there, you know, I've said this before. I'm a Bitcoin maximalist, right? And tonight's show, what I'm talking about when I'm talk about the criticism of democracy as a system of human governance, right? Aristotle's criticism was democracy gets taken over by the oligarchs, by the wealthy, and then they corrupt it to the point where it becomes a tyranny, and then the people have to overthrow it, and then it starts all over again with democracy, right? That's the criticism, and that's a financial criticism. It's a money-based criticism. Aristotle said he didn't care for, or not care for democracy, but he said you got to have a system of governance that where the people in government cannot make money off of government. That's what Bitcoin does. That's what smart contracts are not any smarter than any other contract, but they are immediately enforceable contracts that are enforced by rules, not by rulers. You take the human element out, you can't have a judge favor one side or another because there's no human involvement here. It's an agreement. You're going to take X amount of Bitcoin. You're going to put it, you're going to take it out of your wallet and put it somewhere, and someone else agrees to do something. If they don't do something, they don't get the Bitcoin. But if they do the thing, they get the Bitcoin. It's a one-way transaction. You can't cheat them. You can't say, yeah, go ahead, build me a house. I'll give you 2 Bitcoins. And then they build a house and you go, well, I'm not in the mood, or I don't like this, or whatever. And then the builder goes broke and you buy the house back, not for market price, but for a fraction of that. You won't be able to fuck around, okay? In order for you to say, hey, build me a house, the guy's going to go, okay, I'll build you whatever house you want. Here's what it's going to cost. And you're going to have to put that money up in advance, okay? He doesn't get to keep it until he finishes the house, but you don't get to fuck with him either. That smart contract ideas are really just enforceable contracts, and that is, again, that's going to change things on levels you can't really understand, because everyone wants to fuck around right now. Everybody wants to fuck around. So buy Bitcoin at 50K. Of course, it's a fucking bargain. When Bitcoin's $400,000, 50K is going to look cheap. 50K is going to look super cheap. You know what I mean? I bought Bitcoin at 50K, and then I bought it when it dropped to 40, and I bought it when it dropped to 31. You aren't approaching this the right way. Bitcoin is the world's reserve currency in the future. Okay, dollars are going to be almost worthless, nearly worthless. Okay, so let's see if I can do this. I have no idea why this is all just regenerating now. Again, I'm fun. Have a little bit of fun. It's going really slow. Internet's flowing like mud. No, but it looks like we're going to get it. Maybe. I don't know. It keeps showing me this over and over. If Bitcoin was, when Bitcoin was whatever, 10,000, you know what I mean? I was begging people to buy it, and they were like, nah, forget about it. Those same people look at me and go, oh, you're rich. Listen, if I was rich, I wouldn't be driving boxes 6 days a week. But I know it's coming, right? And the whole time last year when Bitcoin was under 20,000, oh, it'll never get back to 20,000. All the technical analysts and the traders and the people who approach it like it's a stock, they were absolutely sure it would hit 14, then it would drop back to 10, or it might go as high as 16, but it's not going past 12. And what happened? It went 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, blew the roof off and went to 64. And none of them saw that coming. You're not looking at this correctly. You're looking at this like it's a quick investment, like it's a lottery ticket. I'll buy Bitcoin today. It'll go up a gazillion %. I'll sell it tomorrow. I'll get a big bag of fiat. Then I'll be driving in a Lamborghini and starting cocaine at a supermodel's ass crack. Okay? That's what you're trying to do. Good luck. Okay? Bitcoin's not going to do that for you, But if you think I'm going to store my wealth now, okay? Spend it or maybe not spend it, pass it on to my children or my grandchildren when no government agency can steal it from them, that they can have pardon me, that they can have an inheritance that no one can ever take away from them. Now you're thinking the right way, right? You're thinking low time preference, not high time preference. Your high time preference, how many years till 100K? Probably by the end of this year, probably by the end of this year. So I would not be surprised, that we're into the triple digits by the end of this year. I don't know why we're crabbing sideways at 32K, 33K for as long as we have. I checked the hash rate. We were at, I think it was like almost half a day. We were at 115 exahashes. I was like, oh, the hash rate's coming back. The miners are getting back online. And then, I look like a few hours later and boom, we're right back to 83 exahashes or whatever. The hash rate's got to go up and stay up, and it's not doing that. So I don't know why these guys can't get plugged in. And I don't know, what it's going to take to get back. But in the meantime, there's a lot of opportunity to stack at 30K. If you really think Bitcoin's going to $1 million, and the argument, and this is the argument, it's not fun. I don't make these arguments just because I was born with the magical arguing ability. There is no limit to the number of dollars they will print. There is no limit to the number of dollars that they will print. So the dollar can go how low? How low can it go? There's no floor for the dollar. And what that means is there's no ceiling or roof for Bitcoin. If the more they print, the higher everything that's not dollars goes. That's how it works, right? Gold goes higher, real estate goes higher, food goes higher, gasoline goes higher, everything goes higher, right? Bitcoin goes higher. If they will never stop printing money, it means Bitcoin will never stop going up, right? And that's logic. That's not wishful thinking. That's not hopium. As an asset class, but real estate will hold its value or grow because you won't have any place to live. You'll be like all these homeless people in fucking Ohio. If fiat has no floor, then Bitcoin has no roof. It has no max. So it could go to 1 million, 5 million, 10 million. It could go higher. What $10 million is going to buy you 5 years from now? It's probably not what it's bought you 5 years ago, but still, it's going to be worth having something that's worth $10 million, And with the amount of Bitcoin already mined, there's already 18 million mined, right? There's really only like 3 or 4 million up for grabs. Most of the people on the planet Earth, right? Starting from now, the most Bitcoin they could ever have if they bought all the fresh supply, the most they could ever have is like a quarter of a Bitcoin. That's all that's left for all the millionaires who are sleeping on this. You know what I mean? All the millionaires who have, who this isn't even on their radar screen yet. You know what I mean? Like the Battle of Marathon. The Greeks beat the fucking Persians, 490 BC. Nobody gave a shit. The Spartans were like, we don't fucking care. The Macedonians, they didn't fucking care. The Egyptians, they didn't care. The fucking Babylonians, so what? One fucking battle. What does it mean? They didn't understand the significance of it. They did not understand that 490 BC was the beginning of an entirely new era in human governance. Okay? It didn't happen all at once. It took a long time. The Spartans ended up taking over Athens. Alexander the Great took over Athens, and this is a particularly, you have to have like the olive oil mindset. I don't know, Alexander was, I don't know where the fuck he was, but the Athenians pissed him off, so he decided to smack them down and install a governor from Macedonia. He dissolved the assembly, and he installed the governor on the same day, 150 years later, on the same day that the Athenians beat the Persians at Marathon. So he really wanted to fucking thumb them in the eye. Like, listen, I'm the fucking king. And he completely subjugated them. He completely humiliated them, right? The Ottoman fucking Empire took over fucking Greece for fucking 500 years. There was no democracy then. You know what I mean? Democracy out the door. right? That's 500 years democracy was fucking dead in its cradle. Dead. It wasn't dead. It wasn't dead. As soon as the fucking Ottomans got kicked out, people went right back to it. The Ottoman Empire is no more. Democracy is around the globe. And again, just to repeat, just to make it clear, everyone who criticizes democracy starts criticizing it's not democracy enough, it's not pure enough, they don't like this aspect, or they don't like that aspect. You go from most of these democracy critics are like, throw out the baby with the bathwater, right? I don't want any part of it, and then you say, okay, well, what do you have that's better? What do you have? What system of human governance is better than democracy? Because every other one is older. Monarchy, like I said, monarchy, tribal chieftains, whatever, God King. That's all. They all had their chance. They had thousands of years of a head start, and democracy fucking outran them all and killed them all. There are no more God Kings on the face of this earth. There are no more pharaohs on the face of this earth. There are no. There's probably some places you can find tribal chieftains in some little island off the coast of fucking Indonesia, but it's not any place you'd want to be. You know what I mean? You ain't going there. The last person when Rockefeller went out to fucking one of the Rockefeller kids, you remember? He went out to somewhere in the South Sea, and he got eaten by cannibals. Right? Places where there's no democracy, you don't want to be. And I'm telling you, Bitcoin is an invention that is as significant because it fixes the near fatal flaw, not quite fatal flaw. It fixes the flaw of democracy. Because when you can get rich off of governing, right, handing out special favors to your friends, dipping into the into the public treasury yourself, whatever, if somebody makes too much money, you tax the shit out of them, or you pass regulations, or you do something right. There's ways when the money is centralized in the public treasury to corrupt democracy. But now the money is decentralized, and you can't seize it. It's extremely difficult to seize Bitcoin. So, how long can you go without a paycheck? How hard are you going to work without a paycheck for how long? Right? I don't care who you are. Even the bug man with this show, the NSA, pick anybody. You know what I mean? Pick anybody. Like if you're going to make a living, you're going to make a living. You got to do something useful. Part of the reason that the democracy critics, all these fucking alt-right fucking dingbats, I mean, they're useless people. They imagine their uselessness is virtue. None of them can do any hard. They don't understand nothing in the real world. They can't do math or chemistry. They don't understand metallurgy. You know what I mean? Fucking anything like that. Okay, and God forbid they would do any manual fucking labor, right? They talk about how great farming is. They never lived in a fucking farm. They don't know what farm life is like. You know what I mean? I told you when I used to drive to Virginia Beach to drop off transplant organs. You go through Maryland and the bottom of Delaware and Maryland, and it's all chicken farms. All the big names in chicken: Mountain Air, Tyson, Purdue. There's all these industrial sized chicken farms. And everything smells like fucking chicken shit all the time. I have to drive to that area. I used to have to drive to the area, driving for like 100 miles, and all you smell is chicken shit. You want to be a fucking farmer? You think you want to be a farmer, right? You're like, people are like, well, return to tradition. Just have 3 chickens in your yard. Really? How's that going to work? Like, you really think you're going to? You're not going to fucking do that. You're not going to do that. It does that. It doesn't scale. If you're small, somebody's going to come in and fucking take you over. Somebody's going to fucking take you over. Your little fucking homestead. You're going to have to produce a lot of good for a lot of people in order to be successful, in order to do engineering projects, in order to build for eternity. You want to rebuild the Notre Dame Cathedral, with even more Frenchy French, even more double Christian. Okay, it's going to take a lot of money, a lot more money than you can get from whatever, selling the 3 eggs a day you get from your 3 chickens and your little fucking plot, you know. The inability for people to deal with reality, the inability for people to see what's right in front of their face is a very real thing. And it's not an IQ thing. It's a selective attention thing. You know what I mean? It's 100% selective attention. You're paying attention to certain things, which means you're not seeing other things. That's it, period, end of story. You know what I mean? And you've convinced yourself, and a lot of these ideologues convinced themselves that they got it right and they have it completely wrong, because all of world history shows that they have it completely fucking wrong. It's completely fucking wrong. Democracy has conquered the planet, not because it cheated. Everybody else had a fucking head start. It is the best system of human governance ever devised. That doesn't mean it's perfect, but it is the best. Whether you fucking like it or you don't like it, motherfucker, it won fair and square against all comers. Okay? The people who vote versus the people who worship the God King. Guess what? The voters won. In 490 BC, democracy put the world on fucking notice. Motherfuckers, here we come. And democracy's been, like I said, it's got squashed by the Spartans, took over, Alexander fucking did, you know, like there was tons of times that democracy was fucking down, but never fucking out. And Bitcoin is the same way. Oh, Bitcoin's only 32,000. Only 32,000. I bought a fucking 13, you know. The spirit of Tobias Gooch, you want to cry that you bought it at 50? Talk to me 5 years from now. Talk to me 5 years from now. You know what I mean? And you'll be bragging that you bought it at 50. You'll be going to backyard barbecues with a drink in your hand going, you know, I bought Bitcoin at 50,000. And people are like, oh my God, you're so smart. You must have like fucking Mensa level IQ. Because 5 years from now, $50,000 Bitcoin is going. People will be praying for that. They'll be kicking themselves. Why didn't I do it? So, Zoo in the chat. Electricity is more expensive when it's hot. I think it's bureaucracy and a bunch of other things. I don't know. Who knows where these guys are ending up? I thought they were here and they were plugged in, or would get plugged in fairly quickly, but that doesn't seem to have happened. And why, I don't know. Is it a regulatory issue? Is it a fire safety issue? Is it a legit one, or are there people behind the scenes talking to the fire safety guys going, slow roll this? You know what I mean? Like, slow roll this. You know, don't approve the permits. You know, to go take your time, you know, go on vacation, go to the cabin by the lake with your family, come back in 6 weeks. Like, I don't know. I don't know. And I don't think anybody else knows. We're just, like I said, we're going sideways at 32K, which is 50% above the previous all-time high, right? The previous all-time high was 20,000. We're 50% higher than that, and people are complaining. What is your complaint? What is your complaint? We are 50% higher than the 2017 all-time high. And it's only 2021. We're 50% higher. Is that, you know, that's not good enough for you. You need to be, like I said, you need to become low time preference. You have to think about this in terms of years, not weeks or days. If you're thinking weeks or days, again, you're playing the lottery, dude. You're not, Bitcoin is not a lottery. It's not a stock. It's maybe something more like a foreign currency, arguably not a sovereign currency, obviously, it's a decentralized currency. It's something more like that, but it's not really a stock. You know what I mean? It's an asset that's completely new, like nothing else ever. But it's the asset that's going to change in the way that democracy is a different form of governance than all previous forms of governance. Bitcoin is a different form of money than any other form of money. And it's not always obvious. It's not obvious at the beginning what value it has, but it will over time. Over time, it's going to, even though there'll be going to be some bumps along the way democracy now rules the fucking earth. Like it or not, it rules the earth, okay? It took on all fucking everybody and won. So Bitcoin is going to do the same. Like I said, Denmark is coming along. I really want my email to open up. I really, really, really want it to go. I want Gmail to do what I want it to do. Is Gmail going to do it, or is it just going to torture me? Is it just going to torture me? Is it just going to tease me? I think it's going to tease me, to be perfectly honest. But, my magical ability to argue is not, it's really not a magical ability to argue. You know what I mean? I just actually think about things, and I'm committed to getting as close as I can to the truth, not supporting some idea that I fell in love with. As a matter of fact, I was, where was I? I was in Hillary country. I was by White Plains Airport. This is not the one I want. There's no place to get food around White Plains Airport. So I GPS whatever local pizzeria is. It's like 7 miles away. You got to drive 7 fucking miles to find a pizzeria that's open. I go in there. The guy's a crypto guy. He's like an Italian dude, and they were started talking about the soccer thing, and he mentions cryptocurrency. And I said, listen, buy Bitcoin, hold Bitcoin. He's like, yeah, well, I went heavy into Dogecoin. I swear to God, the guys who said this. I was like, what? I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, Dogecoin is. I was like, dude, I know all about Dogecoin. It's a meme coin. That's a copy of a Litecoin. He's like, yeah, Elon Musk, this and that. And I'm like, talk to this guy about hyperinflation. Talk to this guy about the Fed. I didn't really mention the J word. I left that part out of it. I just said central bankers. And this guy's like, yeah. You know what you're talking about? Yeah. He thinks he knows all the same things. And then I don't know how much money he put into Dogecoin, but he put his money into Dogecoin. And this is a small business owner. A guy had a pizzeria in this town that's like it's like 5 miles from where Hillary Clinton lives, which is a really nice fucking neighborhood. You know what I mean? There's all lakes and windy roads and shit up there. It's all very pretty. This guy's this fucking close to getting it, and he fucked it up at the last minute. You know what I mean? He thinks crypto is the future. Crypto is not the future. Bitcoin is the future. Everything else you're going to get rugged. You've already gotten rugged, or you're going to get rugged in the future. But when Bitcoin really takes off, it's going to pull everything up with it. If you're smart, you would get the fuck out of all your shit coins and put all your fucking money into Bitcoin. But maybe you're not that smart. I mean, everyone wants to think they're smart. Everybody likes to think, I'm smart. I got to figure it out. I understand how the world works. But there isn't a whole lot of proof, to support your self-belief. Not a whole lot of proof at all, because you wouldn't be surprised and you wouldn't be disappointed, right? If you're always being surprised and you're always being disappointed, then really your worldview is not correct. There's something wrong. If you see it clearly, you're not surprised and you're not disappointed. You know what I mean? These things that are out there, stuff you see in the news, whatever it is, it should fuel your commitment to doing what you can do, what you have control over. If all it does is fuel your outrage or your depression or despair or whatever, you're not in control of your own life and you're seeing it wrong. You're absolutely seeing it wrongly. However, you're 100% convinced you got it right. Just like the selective attention test, you're counting the times the people in the black t-shirt pass the basketball to the other people in black t-shirts, and you don't like the white t-shirt people, and you missed the giant monkey in the middle of the fucking basketball game. You're missing the giant monkey, okay? But you can't admit that to yourself for whatever reason. Okay, bro, peace out. I don't waste energy on trying to convince people anymore. You see what you see. You give importance to what you give importance to, and best of luck. You know what I mean? You've likely got it wrong. You've likely got it wrong. And until you're humble enough to admit that about a lot of things and you start re-examining everything, well then you're going to continue to be disappointed, disappointed, depressed, surprised, and demoralized. I'm not, okay? I can see 100% where this is going to go. I get how Bitcoin fixes the prior greatest human invention, which was democracy, is going to be fixed as close to perfected as you can get on this earth by Bitcoin. That's what's going to happen, and it's really exciting. And that I can be part of this, that I can drive this, that this lights me up. This fucking, I'm happy all the fucking time, and I'm not worried about. I'm seeing people drive all over the place, and I see Lambos all the time, Lambos and Ferraris and McLarens zipping up and down the highways. All these rich kids, I don't know whatever they're doing. Rich guys, some of them look pretty goofy. I'm not. I'm really not jealous of them. I'm like, hey, whatever. Good luck with that. Cantillionaires, but yeah, I'm there. It looks good right now, but long run, we're going to win, or Bitcoin's going to win. And if you're on the side of Bitcoin, if you're holding Bitcoin, you're holding an asset that you can transfer to your children, to your grandchildren. That's going to grow in value literally until everyone on the planet fixes themselves, and that's going to be a long ass fucking time. So there's an enormous growth curve in front of us, an enormous, unthinkable growth curve. Okay, buy Bitcoin, hold Bitcoin, and then just whatever, take care of your health and live your life, and don't get freaked out by things. You know what I mean? If you have to go in front of the George Floyd statue and pray, that you don't commit a racism, whatever, do it. Do whatever the fuck you got to do. When you're done with that, go home, buy some more Bitcoin, because the cantillionaires and the counterfeit banksters that fucking run all this stuff, they will be brought down. It's going to happen. Okay, what you need to do is prep for it. Tom Anderson, where you been, for Christ's sake? Jimmy, no Uzo left in the box. There's nothing, dude. There's nothing. I have nothing. What is this? This isn't even. This is, I failed to plan, or I plan to fail. Whatever. I don't even have enough to get a good buzz. You know what I mean? Usually I drink enough to get a nice hangover. I didn't have enough to get a good buzz. Where you been, Tom Anderson? You're literally just showing up. I had all kind of tech problems. And I don't know how I did it, but I shut the browser and restarted it quickly enough again, so that the stream kept going. It didn't get interrupted. So it's like that commercial on YouTube you see for StreamYards. If there's ever a glitch in your internet, you can just restart the stream. Well, you know what? It's certainly true in my case tonight. So yeah. I still can't do my screen shares because I cannot load Gmail. That's the problem. It's such cool stuff. I'll have it for next week. Don't get me wrong. I'll have it for next week. But I want to use it now. I spent all this time, all this effort. I was doing I take these screenshots, and then I edit the screenshot, and I put a little arrow showing whatever the thing I want to highlight. And all of this, I make all of this effort, like 10, 20 minutes of effort at least before I do this show. And I want it to pay off. Whoa, look at this. This is amazing. Let's just do this. Let's just throw this up there. This is going to be awesome. My life has just improved, dramatically improved by this. If this thing would, it's coming. You guys got to be patient. You got to stick with me here. This is where this should be your mindset. Let me see if it'll show up. Come on, show up. All right, let's see. It looks small there, but I've learned the secret of expanding the app. This really, once you're orange pilled, this should be you. You know what I mean? This is how. Yeah, they're always effing around. They're always messing around. My tax dollars at work. Here we go. See that? That should be you, right? You should be orange pilled, right? You have to be a Bitcoin fueled, a Bitcoin powered. Orange pill is Monero. Monero's when you look at it on cryptocoin.com, it's always Monero's like red and white, not orange. Bitcoin is orange. This is where you need to be. This is it. Okay. This is the way, as the kids say. All right. So let me go back to all now that my thing is working here. My computer seems to have settled down. Um, what else do we have? Yeah, here's the Brazilian. Tom Anderson will like this. This Tom Anderson will like. Now that he actually showed up in the show. This is, like I said, that astrology crypto analyst. She's making friends all over YouTube, and she's apparently down in Brazil, and now she's promoting this. Right? She's promoting this chick. Where is it? Astrology chick, because I wonder what she's talking about. And this is what she's. Of course, I'm still stacking. This is, Marin, the red astrology girl, is now promoting the big booty Brazilian chick. Like I said, the future of financial slavery is Bitcoin bunnies or crypto cuties or whatever you want to call them. They're going to be social media influencers. All these people have their DMs open. So there's really behind the scenes, there's teams of people that are dealing with what, all the DMs that are being flooded into this account, and also the other one, the astrology chick. You know what I mean? There's people sorting through that, and they're looking to see what intel they can get, what they can get you to do. All of this is a setup. Like I said, it's a digital manipulation of your loneliness and your horniness to get you to give up all your money, to get you to, to buy Monero or something else. Tom Anderson, how much Bitcoin to buy her? Well, if you have one full Bitcoin in Brazil, I think you have like $1 billion, like $1 billion with a B in Brazil, or that's Colombia. I'm not sure which. I don't know. But that is the effect they want to have it. You know what I mean? That is the exact effect where you go, I want it, give it to me. You know what I mean? And then she's going to go, oh, by the way, I think you should buy internet computer coin. You know what I mean? You're like, yes, anything, if you'll just love me, fantasy girl from the internet, and that's what they're going to do. And it's going to work. It's absolutely, it's working now. You know what I mean? I don't have pictures of what else we got. Where's here's the Denmark one. This is this is the larger. There we go. Now I'm so proud of myself that I have that I have the ability to actually pay attention to what's in front of the nose, what's in front of my face. This is a tweet by Jack Mallers, the guy who helped write the Bitcoin law in El Salvador. Bitcoin is not just for little Latin American countries. Denmark, land of the Vikings, is working on a Bitcoin legal tender law itself. When I tell you we're taking over the world, we're taking over the world. And to remind you, later this week or this coming week, the Bitcoin law for the nation of Paraguay, or Paraguay, but I like to call it Paraguay, because I actually knew somebody. I used to work with a guy who was from Paraguay. But yeah, this is big. This is country by country we're taking over. The Bogdanovs said they helped make Bitcoin. Yeah, they helped make. Yeah, they stood still while somebody took a picture of them and made them into a meme. You know what I mean? Victory has 1,000 fathers, Tom Anderson. Victory has 1,000 fathers, and defeat is an orphan. That's a old Greek saying. Victory has 1,000 fathers, and defeat is an orphan. Bitcoin is a victory. Everybody wants to take credit for it. Everybody wants to take credit for it. But the guys who created it, whether whoever Satoshi was, and I think it was probably some American guy who might have committed suicide, and who's some of the early cypherpunks, the privacy enthusiasts, the guys into cryptography. Most of them are now dead, by the way. You know what I mean? Some of those guys were old. Hal, what was his name? Hal Finney? Hal something other. I can't recall the guy's name. The first guy to say Bitcoin could go to 10 million when it was worth zero. They hadn't even finished it yet. He's like, you know what? It might be a good idea if this stuff ever goes to $10 million to have a few of them. He was talking about that like in 2010, 2000, like, you know, in the fall of 2009, he was talking about that. All of these guys, you know, they did it, you know, when nobody else fucking cared. And now that it's a $500 billion asset, or it was $1 trillion, it shrunk back down to 650 billion or whatever. Now all of a sudden the Bogdanovs are into it. Yeah, the NSA created it, this, that, blah, 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 blah. Another bullshit internet fucking rumor said by somebody you don't know with no fucking attribution and no fucking facts. But that's what they said on the internet, so fuck, it must be true. And if they had some chick with fucking massive boobs, she had that written on her boobs, you'd believe it 100%. You know what I mean? If the Bogdanovs were sisters, or if they transition, maybe they'll transition to girls. Maybe it'll be the Bogdanov sisters instead of brothers. They'll take some hormone shots and get some fucking implants, and they'll write their messages on their fucking on their D cups. Everyone will fucking believe them, right? We're living in if you see it the right way, then everything's fake and gay. It can be a fun. The internet can be fun again, but too many people are too dead serious about this because you don't have a good historical perspective. Like I said, democracy covers the earth. Democracy rules the entire fucking planet because it is the best system of human governance ever devised. It is not a perfect system, but it is the best system, which is why it rules the earth. Its primary flaw, as outlined by Aristotle, is that money interests, oligarchs, take control of democracy and make it less democratic until it becomes a tyranny, and then the people have to overthrow the tyranny. So Aristotle, smartest motherfucker maybe ever, correctly identified the one flaw in democracy, which was money. Bitcoin fixes this. Bitcoin separates money from the state. And that perfects democracy. Of course you do, Tom Anderson. See, this is all you democracy critics are all the same. First you hate democracy and you want something that's not democracy. You've had 2,500 fucking years. Listen to me, Tom Anderson. You and everyone who thinks like you has had 2,500 years to build something better than democracy, and you haven't. Now, either you're lazy, or you're stupid, or both. I don't fucking know. I don't know. Okay? But then you go from, I hate democracy, I don't want no part of it, to now you're an engineer. You're like, well, I like this part, but this part's broken. It's you know what? This isn't pure democracy. It's only like 46% democracy. And then there's some artificial fillers and there's some artificial colors in there. And it's got some wasteful packaging. All of a sudden, you're the fucking connoisseur of democracy. Nigeria's democracy is real democracy because everyone's black there and there's no racial division. So it must be purer than America's democracy, which is a multiracial democracy. And it can't be pure because it has artificial colors and artificial flavors. Your fucking criticisms are bullshit criticisms. And it doesn't fucking matter because democracy, I don't care, even fucking Iran is a democracy. They got a president, Ahmadinejad, okay, he hasn't been the president for like 10 years, but I'm sure somebody else took his fucking job. They got a legislative body called the Majlis. You know what I mean? They put a religious mask over everything, but it's democracy. In Russia, Putin is the strong man. He's the strong man. But they still have the Duma. They still have the fucking legislative body. Okay? If you have to share power, it's a democracy. Is it as pure democracy as to pass Tom Anderson's fucking purity test? I have no fucking idea. I have no idea. Okay? But it's still a democracy. And some people say, well, in some places, it's just the illusion of democracy. Well, maybe that's true, but that illusion is so powerful, you must have it or you can't rule. Okay? Think of that. The illusion, the appearance of democracy is so powerful, you must have that or you can't rule. Think about that. That's the power of it. That's why it covers the earth. Whether you think it's 100% pure or only 13% or whatever, I don't give a shit about your criticisms. The only criticism that matters is Aristotle's criticism, and that has been answered with Bitcoin. In the same way, like, and I said this earlier, I'm just going to repeat what I said earlier. Okay, the dream of human flight, right? Human beings saw birds flying from here to there quickly through the air and said, well, why can't I do that? And human beings dreamt of flying for millennia. But it wasn't until the Wright brothers, who started out doing something else, a bicycle company, figured out the airplane, right? They finally cracked it. And every element of an airplane, the wood, the metal, everything, the oil, the way, the fire, the spark to make the fucking engine run, all of that existed. All of that existed for thousands of years. But nobody knew how to put it together in just the right combination to make a fucking airplane. And finally, the fucking Wright brothers did it. And that's the thing with money. Money has been different things for thousands and thousands and thousands of fucking years. But it took whoever Satoshi Nakamoto was, or a group of people, to finally put all those elements together just the fucking right way to make the most perfect money the earth has ever seen. Marry that to the best governance that the earth has ever seen, and we're going to have an era of human freedom and productivity and an explosion of fucking technology and science like you never saw before. Okay, but we're not there yet. We're still at 490 BC. Okay, the Persian fleet has been knocked back into the ocean, and we're sitting there going, "What the fuck did we do?" Right? We're sitting there going, "We were outnumbered 2-1, 3-1, and we beat those guys. Holy shit!" No, the rest of the world didn't get it, okay? But something enormous had happened. Something enormous is happening. ETH 2.0. Oh, yeah, that'll be great. Yeah, look, is Ethereum even going to survive to the end of the fucking year? I don't know what's going on with Ethereum, but apparently, I don't know, the rug is getting pulled in like 3 different directions. You know, from what I see on Twitter, Ethereum is in deep trouble. You know what I mean? And you have to think, what future does it have if there's a 2.0, 3.0? There's only one fucking Bitcoin. There's only ever been one real Bitcoin. It doesn't, right? There's been a few tweaks and improvements slowly done by consensus, right? Just by the rules, not by Vitalik Buterin or some fucking behind the scenes Bogdanov fucking brothers, you know, who decide what's going to happen, right? In crypto, okay? So Bitcoin keeps chugging along, higher every year, every 3 years, every 4 years, every 5 years. Ethereum split into 17 things, Monero, Litecoin, Dogecoin, whatever. You know what I mean? Always a mess, always a fucking shit show, always, you know, all sizzle and no fucking steak. All a big promise. Tomorrow, next week, next year, after this, after that. And what do you end up with? You end up, you're holding a bag of what? You don't know. You know what I mean? The rules are set or changed by people you don't know in places you can't see and have no influence over. Okay? And fingers crossed, you end up with a big bag of money so you can get that Lambo and the supermodel with the fill her fucking ass crack with cocaine. Although if that fucking Brazilian chick would take like a kilo of Brazilian marching powder to fill that giant booty. Anyway, things are looking phenomenally good, but you have to look in the long term. You have to look further than the nose in your face, and nobody wants to do that. You know, it's things that, like, people have pointed out that the war in Afghanistan is over. We've withdrawn from Afghanistan. Donald Trump, right? Who, by the way, his new social media platform, Getter, or whatever the fuck it was going to be, got hacked on day one. It was all full of Chinese bots and shit. It's like even my fucking family, who was my nieces and stuff, were big Trump people. They don't even know he launched their own his own social media platform. Trump spiraling down the fucking tubes. Biden ending the war in Afghanistan. Okay, not what he campaigned on, but he's ending the fucking war. So the guy who said I'm going to end the wars did nothing, even though he had the power the whole time. You know why? Because he just wants you to fucking cheer for him. He just wants to go to a rally and he wants to say his little fucking pre-recorded lines and get a laugh and everyone cheer for him. And that's all he was ever about. Whatever the fuck Joe Biden's about is about some kind of governance, whether you like him or you don't like him. But he's doing what Trump promised to fucking do. And the world is only going to get crazier and crazier and crazier. Trump announced his run for 2024 recently and won the CPAC straw poll. Yeah, CPAC. Okay, yeah, like CPAC is a thing. What does the CPAC stand for? Child Molesters Political Action Committee? They're all fucking pedos. You know what I mean? Trump announced something good for him. 2024 is going to look so fucking different. The Bitcoin's going to be like $400,000 at that point. Do you think anybody's going to fucking pay attention to Donald Trump? Ain't going to happen. There's so much that's going to happen between now and then. That guy is sinking ever lower, further and further into irrelevance. And as is appropriate, really, for him. He campaigned as a change agent. He changed nothing. You know what I mean? So, Tom Anderson, starting to see that the DeSantis train is leaving the station. Yeah, but DeSantis is going to be kept in line, just like DeSantis passed a law in Florida that you're allowed to sue Facebook and Google, and then magically, from somewhere in this behemoth of a fucking federal apparatus, some federal judge struck down that law saying, boom, that's unconstitutional. So, the money printer and the ethnics, the people that run the money printer, their worldview still has sway because some federal judge, whether he got a big bag of fucking money or his kids got, I don't know, a tech job at Apple, you know what I mean? Or his grandson got a fucking job at, an engineering job at fucking Google, even though he doesn't have a computer engineering degree. Who the fuck knows? But that federal judge issued that fucking injunction, boom, like that. And magically, big tech is now protected. You know what I mean? So as populist as DeSantis appears to be, the machine that really runs things is gonna keep him very much within a very narrow range of what he's allowed to do and what he's not allowed to do. We all know that. But the only way you get to be shavos is because they have the money. The money is changing now. And it's changing forever. And it's not Ethereum, and it's not fucking Monero, and it's not Dogecoin, or what I talk about, Krill, or whatever thing I mentioned last time. Bitcoin is changing this. And nothing else is going to change this. No, the nation of Denmark isn't thinking about adopting Monero. Okay? That's just not it. That's just not happening. There's one clear fucking winner and you refuse to see it. Now, I'm going to mock you. I'm going to fucking humiliate you. Just like I'm going to humiliate all the democracy critics. 2,500 years you have had. You have had 2,500 years. You super IQ geniuses. I read this big fat book. I went to the fucking important school, blah, 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 blah. I'm so fucking smart. Really? Come up with something better than democracy. You've had 2,500 years. You're either lazy or stupid or both. Which are you, lazy or stupid or both? 2,500 years you have had an opportunity to beat the system called democracy, and you have done nothing. You are a failure on levels you cannot begin to comprehend. You are a millennia-long failure. You couldn't engineer your way out of a wet fucking paper bag. But like every fucking retard I ever met in my entire life, you think you're a fucking genius. Every retard I ever met thought they were a fucking genius. They didn't even understand they're below average. They think they're geniuses. You're a fucking retard. Make up a system of governance. Devise a system of human governance that is superior to democracy. You've had 2,500 years and you've come up with nothing. And I'm pretty confident, I'm reasonably confident, the next 2,500 years going to look like the last 2,500. There's going to be some bumps and bangs along the way. We're not always going to be on top, but decentralized governance dominates the globe, and decentralized money, that is to say, Bitcoin, will dominate the globe. It's not going to take 2,500 years. Okay, technology moves a lot faster now, but the two have finally come together. And at this point in human history, whether you see it or you don't see it, is an extremely exciting time. That we are on the fucking edge of something extraordinary. But your fucking myopic, delusional fucking desire for Mesopotamian god kings or whatever the fuck you think is better, which democracy slaughtered fucking centuries ago. Okay, millennia ago, we slaughtered those cocksuckers. Okay, you keep looking backwards, hoping that they'll fucking, whatever, zombify themselves and come out of the grave. They're gone. They're gone. Decentralized governance, decentralized money is going to do things for the human race you can't fucking imagine, because you have a little pea brain and a tiny fucking imagination that is hooked up to the past. You need to open your eyes to what's fucking happening now. Okay? What is happening, and is it going to happen tomorrow? No, it's not happening tomorrow. Is it going to make all your dreams come true? All your dreams come true has nothing to fucking do with human civilization. They're just your fucking dumb fantasies. They have much less importance than you think they do. And whatever you dreamt of when you were 14 is not what you're going to dream of when you're 41. In 2,500 years, there will only be the elites left, and they will live forever. Nobody lives forever. Nobody lives forever. Zoo in the chat. I want Biden to pull U.S. troops out of South Korea. Listen, I want him to do that too. Once the dollar collapses, all those bases are going to have to go. Once we can no longer afford to project that level of power, that's all going to go. The faster that happens, the better. And there's a couple other things. The Chinese are no longer doing U.S. IPOs. Okay, China is pushing. This is like for decades. It's like, oh, they want to IPO in America because there's an enormous amount of money to be made in America. But now China doesn't want to. Chinese companies are not going to IPO in America anymore. They feel like they don't need to do that. As greedy as they are, they're not going to IPO in America. And Russia just started. I don't know what they did. They rejected the dollar in some trade deal. And people go, well, who gives a shit? It's only a couple $100 billion. But this is the empire losing control. Okay? This is the empire losing control. Afghanistan, the graveyard of empires. That is the description of Afghanistan. Okay? Now that's it. America leaving Afghanistan is the signal that America is finished. Afghanistan is the graveyard of empires. It was true for the Greeks. It was true for the British. It's true for America. Okay, China's saying we don't need to IPO in America anymore. We're not going to do it. You know what I mean? Russia's saying we're not going to buy American bonds anymore. We're going to dump American bonds. All of these are signs that all of these entities, which formerly, right, had to bow to America, don't have to bow anymore. You know what I mean? Maybe they're not the biggest acts of defiance, but they are public acts of defiance. Okay, that shows America weakening, and then everyone else strengthening. Okay, that drama is playing out with the cantillionaires and the central bankers, and in the meantime, Bitcoin is fucking gobbling shit up. It's making strides. Like I said, Paraguay this month, Denmark on the way. How many other countries? What country is going to be the next one to say, oh yeah, we're going to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender? All right. This week is Paraguay. Denmark, how soon? By the end of the summer, by the end of the year, that'll be 3 countries. Oh, there are only 3 little countries. Yeah, only 3 little countries. The revolt against the Persian Empire started not in Athens, but it started in these little fucking islands that said, you know what, we're not sending shit to fucking Persia anymore. Fuck them. Revolts start in unusual ways, in unexpected ways that have, that you don't know where it's going to fucking end up. But I understand where it's going to end up. I understand the power of decentralized governance for human affairs. And I think I understand the power of decentralized money, which is the final sort of key. You know what I mean? So, this is coming. You live in a much more exciting time than you think, and you should be a lot happier than you imagine, because extraordinary things are coming in the future. A lot of bad shit's going to happen in between here and then. I'm not saying it's all sunshine and puppies, because it ain't all sunshine and puppies. But yeah, no doubt, we are on the cusp of enormous change for the human race, and it's pretty exciting. Pretty exciting to be part of that. So stack your sats, my brothers. Right? You don't want to be this guy. This is not the guy you want to be. Right? You don't want to be this dude. This is, by the way, one of the Bogdanovich. This is the Bogdanovich, his cousin. Right? Don't be this guy. Do not be this guy. Such a bad choice in life. You have a choice to not be him. All right? Do not be this guy. It's as clear can be. He doesn't need a gun because nobody wants to steal all that worthless fucking paper. This is what the US dollar is going to be. This is what Afghanistan cost. This is what all that shit cost. You know what I mean? This is probably all that's in fucking Fort Knox these days. The gold is probably gone. Probably in fucking Tel Aviv. But even gold's value is going to plummet because the only value gold has is in computers, right? It's used in computer motherboards and CPUs and shit like that. So, you can use gold to mine, transmit, and store Bitcoin. And that's the only fucking use it has. All right. This is a very real picture from the type of government we have now. You have a centralized control of the money, of the economy. This is what they did. Okay. This is what they did in Weimar, Germany. They did it in Hungary. They did it in Zimbabwe. They're going to do it in the United States as well. Okay. You need to have something that is not US dollar denominated. The easiest, most portable, best fucking alternative is Bitcoin, not Monero, not Ethereum, not whatever the fucking fat Brazilian chick has written on her ass or the fucking red astrology chick writes on her fucking boobs. It's Bitcoin. You need to stay focused on this and let everything else just be a fucking laugh. Let everything else be a laugh. Don't be that guy. Okay? Do not be that guy. So anyway, all right. It's a minute. It's a minute 45. It's an hour and 45. Now I got more viewers now. There's literally nothing left to fucking drink. Nothing left. Nothing left to drink. And I've made the same point in this show like 7 times. I don't know how many other times I could come at this, but Tom Anderson, you get together, you can start like democracysucks.org or whatever. You, Eki Lux, all your friends get together and I don't know, maybe you can sell the salt from your tears to pay for a website, and then you work on the system of governance that is better than democracy. Okay, you're right. That's your project. Not this is only 36% democracy. That's only 8% democracy. This democracy has got sour milk in it. I don't want to fucking. This democracy is moldy. We don't give a fuck. Okay? We know it's not perfect. Your job is to come up with something better. Okay? 25 centuries you've had, you haven't done dick. Get off your fucking lazy ass. Right? I know you're super smart. You and all your buddies are such geniuses. You read the book. Oh, look, I read this big, thick book, and then I went to the school, and we know everything. Really? Come up with a system of governance that's better. Okay? Democracy now rules the earth the way that monarchy and god kings used to rule the earth. So you have a fucking chance. You have an opportunity to knock them off the fucking seat. All right? Let's see what you come up with. All right? I personally will not be holding my breath. I don't think you got it in you because, like I said, in the last 25 years, you haven't done anything. Everyone has failed. It has beaten all comers. There's a reason for that, and you can't see that. It's not because the reason's hidden, but that's the limitation of your fucking perception and your vision. And everyone like you. I understand it's not to your fucking, not to your, in your mind, democracy is the list of everything you fucking want coming true by the end of the fucking week. Okay? That's delusional, right? Democracy is the best system ever. Not a perfect system, but the best one. Every other one has failed. Every other one has been wiped from the face of the earth. That's the fucking truth. That's fucking obvious. There's no fucking argument there. And I didn't get that because I have the special, magical fucking argument gene that I was fucking born with. It's a perception of what has fucking happened in this world. It's a real look at fucking history, okay? And you could say, democracy cheated, or whatever fucking dumbass cope you fucking come up with. But you want to go with, you should make up Pharaoh coin or Babylonian God King coin and see if you can fucking sell that. All right, because that's what democracy killed, and Bitcoin is the money for democracy. It is decentralized, permissionless. Right, the hardest money known to man ever. It is the fucking airplane of money. It is the realization of thousands of fucking years of dreams and fucking desires. It is that fucking big. It is that fucking important. And you are wasting your time doing some other thing. And whatever, man, it's your life. Run it the way you want. But you're not getting it. It's right in front of your face and you're not getting it. The same way I watched people take dogs on and off private jets thinking, oh, they must be carrying them in those plastic crates when they weren't. The dog is sitting in the fucking seat. People are paying $10,500 an hour to fly, Fluffy the fucking the Labradoodle to fucking to Aspen for a ski trip. You know what I mean? That's Weimar level shit. You know what I mean? That's been going on for a while, and I saw that without knowing what I saw, without understanding what I saw, because I'm thinking, well, they put them in crates like they do with United Airlines. No, they let him sit in the same seat that some fucking CEO of twat fucking product.com is going to be sitting in next week, which I think is pretty funny. Anyway, where are we at? We're at 1 minute and 50, 1 minute, 1 fucking minute. You would think I was fucking drunk. I'm not. 1 hour, 50 minutes. Anyway, 2 hours. Who's going to listen to me fucking say the same thing over and over and over for 2 hours? I don't even want to hear it anymore. Well, we kind of saved it in the end with some of the screen shares. We got some of the memes out, so I'm happy about that. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let you dudes out. You should go to some other stream where they're doing a nuanced critique of the Hegelian dialectic as seen through the eyes of John Locke and Immanuel Kant's retarded sister. You know what I mean? Or whatever the fuck. Whatever it is you think is important, and listen to people basically waste oxygen. You know what I mean? The only good thing about those streams is that people inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide, and plants absorb carbon dioxide to grow food. So I guess that's their value to this earth. Anyway, now I'm happy with the show. Relatively happy with the show. Make sure to smash up that like button. It only takes a second, and it pisses off the NSA. It pisses off the alphabet motherfuckers who would silence us. So smash up the like button, and I will see you guys next week, and I'll talk to you then. Bye.